Well, good morning or good evening, depending on where you are, where you're watching from, and when you're watching. It's so good to have each and every one of you take some time out of your day to come join us. I'm very excited to have my friend Dani come join me again. It's always a hoot to have Dani join me. So I'm going to let her introduce herself real quick and tell us a little bit about herself, just in case you don't know who she is. Over to you.
Well, thanks, Sean, so much for having me. I appreciate it. I always love it, spending time with you, especially this early in the morning.
Well, that's good because, yeah, I only do early. Well, I lie. I do one a late night live over with Tammy, but other than that, it has to be in the morning. So, yes.
Which is no problem. It's really no problem. But anyway, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you being here. I know Sean appreciates you being here. My name is Dani, and my channel is called So Not an Expert because that is the theme of my channel is that I am not the expert. Everyone in chat is the expert. I'm constantly learning every day about every project that we work on. I'm fairly new to the quilting community, or at least I consider myself fairly new. I've been doing it about 5 or 6 years. But I'm always learning new things. We're always learning new techniques. This year, all the projects that we're working on are challenging to myself. I'm trying to challenge my skills and trying to force myself to learn a little bit of new things and make some mistakes in the process. But it's been a lot of fun so far. We have a great time. I do my live streams on Sunday mornings at 10:30 a.m. Central Time, which is why 7 a.m. Central Time is a little early for me, but that's okay. But we do them at 10:30 Central Time, and then I like to sprinkle in an extra live stream at least once a week if I can, usually late in the evenings, and it just depends on the day of the week that my schedule allows. So I don't really have a specific day of the week that I schedule the evening streams. I always encourage everybody to just keep an eye on the channel because I do post previews of all of my lives, so then that way you guys know what time they are. And I also do a lot on my Facebook page as well to make sure that people know what our schedule is. But I get bored very easily, so we like to kind of rotate projects in and out. So like I've never working on the same project 2 weeks in a row. They will come back on the channel the next month, but I like to rotate them out because otherwise I just get bored out of my mind. So we are working on, I would think the last count, we had like 6 or 7 projects that we're working on that we just keep rotating in and out every week. It's a lot of fun. It keeps things interesting. It kind of keeps your brain reset. So then that way, if you get frustrated with a project, you just put it off and you can work on it again next month. So it's really great, but it does take us a lot longer to finish our projects because we do, stretch them out so far. So for some people that can be a little frustrating, and I completely understand that. But we have a great time. We have some great conversations. It's just amazing some of the things that we end up talking about. It's so much fun. But the focus of my channel is not so much on making the projects. It's more on making friends. It's more on hanging out with friends, having fun times. We do some tutorials, and I will tell you guys everything that I'm doing in case it's something that you don't already know. But for the most part, the majority of my community already knows what I'm doing, and I'm the one that's learning. So I don't do a lot of instructional videos just because I don't feel like I really have the skill set to be able to teach somebody else how to do it. But I absolutely will. If there is someone in chat that is looking for some further information, I will absolutely share that with you. But yeah, we have a great time. We play some games in chat. My channel loves some of the games that we play in chat that allow you to earn points. So I call them thimbles. They're allowed to earn some thimbles, and then you can trade those in for prizes. I love giving away prizes. It's one of my favorite things to do. It costs me a small fortune, but that's okay because I absolutely love to do it. In fact, I just mailed out all of my last month's redemptions and subscriber perks and things like that. And I had over 12 packages that I mailed out. So I was really excited about that. So come on over Sunday mornings, 10:30 a.m. Join us. We're having a great time. And thank you again, Sean, for letting me come on your channel tonight. I appreciate it. Or this
Oh,
morning.
I love
Appreciate
having you
it.
here. It's always a lot of fun to have you here, and that's one of the things. Like,
Well, thank you.
just listening to you talk about your channel and what you do. It's one of the reasons I love having you on is because I think your philosophy and mine are very very similar. Like, I make a lot of mistakes, and I'm not afraid to pull it. Show that Jack is my very very bestest friend because I goof up a lot. The other week I made the same mistake twice within about 5 minutes. I made a
Yep.
mistake. I ripped it out. And then I immediately did that again. And I was like, okay, well, if I do it a third time, this project's going bye-bye, and I don't have a backup project on this live.
Oh,
So we might
geez.
be in a lot of trouble. Today I have a backup project. But yes, and that sort of thing there. And then What else was I going to tell you? I think you have more to like when it comes to tutorials. I think you'd be surprised because I've heard this myself. Like, I think you can teach more than you think you can because everyone has a different learning style, everyone has a different teaching style. And I think a lot of people would benefit from you doing it slowly in that because sometimes you see, and I prefer a video where I can just get in and out, see what I need to do and get going. But some people do
Right.
need that, step by step, very slow, very intentional thing. So if you ever want to do tutorials, don't ever think that you can't do it because you don't have the skill set. I think you know more than you think you do.
Well, I
So
appreciate that. Thank you. And
yeah,
speaking of Jack, I like to joke on my channel that Jack is the co-host of the show because he shows up so much on my show that he's just become the co-host.
yes, I love that. Sometimes I try not to have it that way. We have a thing here where we
In
try not
fact,
to
I have
say.
him right here. I just had to pull him out a minute ago.
Yeah, mine's floating right here, and we usually try not to talk about Jack here on the channel because as soon as we do, he has to come out to play. So whatever, we've already jinxed it. It's fine, and Dandy will be just fine. And
Yeah.
I'm also trying to work on an not Elizabeth Hartman, Artie's Quilting Go project this morning. So it's not
Sorry.
it's not it's not going to bode well. So there you go.
I'm trying
Anyway,
to pump myself up with more caffeine to try and stay awake. So
yeah, and I didn't make coffee for myself this morning, so we're gonna have a grand old time here today, but we'll do just fine. Let's just
oh
say
boy.
hi to everyone real quick, and then we will pop in and show everyone what we're working on. It looks like my
Yeah.
friend Polly was here bright and early, along with Rita, and Miss Andrea is here, and she joined the membership program. So thank you so much for that. That's an optional thing you can do if you choose. It's just a way to help support the channel, but if you can't or it doesn't interest you, don't worry about it. It is not expected. It is not anything else like that. It's just something out there that is there if you so choose. And there's good morning to you out there in Newfoundland. It's always good to hear from you. Michelle the Quilter is here. Good morning to Miss Tasha. Dawn is here. Tink says, hey, everyone here from East Texas. Kathy Klein is here from Decatur, Illinois, which is probably not that far from you there, Mr.
That is
Danny.
not far at all from me. No, I believe she's actually a subscriber of my channel. So good morning. Good
Yes.
morning. Yes, I'm in Northern Illinois. So yeah, not far away at all.
Yes, as I say, I know you guys are, within a few hours, closer to me at least. Pasita is here from the Toronto area. Muriel, good morning. Good morning, Miss Brenda from Louisville. Sandy, good morning to you. Good morning, Miss Melanie. Charlotte is here from Texas. We have another Texas lady up for. Oh yeah, that was Tink. Deb Esther Pug Mum Quilter is here. Crystal, yeah, we've said hi to Rita. Let's see. Saw Donna pop in a minute ago. So blessed by Jess. If you have a channel, please put your link in. It should be a exclamation point, your first name. The Nightbot is working this morning, thankfully. So that is always good news. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? I hope not. If I did, I didn't do it deliberately. So there we go. And if you ever need my guests information, you should be able to put exclamation point guest. I try very hard to update that each week. Once in a while I forget, but I'm pretty good about that. So there you go. And then Muriel is here from Lehigh or Lay. It's like five different ways of pronouncing that. Acres in Florida. So there you go. Anyway, Danny, what are you working on this morning?
So this morning I have pulled out an old project. Well, I guess it's not too old. It's only about a year old. I pulled out an older project that I kind of just pull out every once in a while. It's a cotton cuts pre-cut project. I love cotton cuts. They're not a sponsor for my channel by any means, but they're a big part of my channel. Although I haven't been joining them lately because I just haven't liked the color advice. Anyway, sorry, sidetracked. This is a gnome project. It's a pre-cut gnome project from Cotton Cuts. I bought a couple of them last year because I really liked them and I thought they were cute. We put together the Thanksgiving one last year. We just finished that one on my channel a couple of weeks ago, and now this one is the January one. So I've just started putting this one together. They're just so cute. They're not quite gnomes. They're kind of a little abstract, but I still love them anyway, and they're adorable. So that's what I'm working on today. I find that to be the best projects to work on when I'm on someone else's live stream because then hopefully I don't make as many mistakes. I don't look like
Right.
too crazy of a person. But as I've said, I've already had to pull Jack out twice this morning, and I've only been here for 20 minutes. So
But
that
we
that
did
went out the window already.
we did get you out of bed early too, so we'll give you a bit of we can give you some grace there, and I think it's good to show mistakes. I'm not afraid to show them. You're not
Oh,
afraid to show them.
agreed. 100%.
Because like you'll hear in the comments all the time, "Hey, look, I made the same mistake." I remember what was it? I think the Winnie the Pooh project I started on last year. I don't think I was even on step 2, and I'd already goofed something up. And I was talking to Danelle, who is probably outside walking the dogs. Yeah, so look, I haven't even made step 2, and she's like, "Oh, thank goodness," because I made the same mistake. So, it happens. So, what am I working on? Well, let's see. I should be smart like Dani and do an easy project like the Cotton Cut Stones. They're fantastic for lives. I used them a lot myself. I ran out of them, unfortunately. I think they discontinue. But no, I figured it's a good
They
idea.
did. Yeah, I bought mine when it was on clearance.
Yeah, I bought a few of those too, and I used them up very quickly. But I've got a new project from Art East Quilting Co. It's called Halloweeny, so it's all these different Darksons in Halloween costumes. There's ghosts, there's pumpkins, there's all sorts of good stuff. So I've decided to start on one of the easier ones. This is called the Ghost Weenie, and so far I've done his head and his teeth, and then we'll start working on
Cute.
the bottom of his body, like the ghost sheet thing there. So we'll see. We might have to do a counter on how many times we have to pull out Jack today, because if we make um, he may be the co-host about the third host that we didn't announce.
Well, I mean, I probably just brought him with me. That's probably my problem.
Hey, so far we're doing all right, but that's fine. Good morning, Miss Fallon. It's good to see you. I was going to text you last time because I haven't heard from you in a while, so I was going to say hi, but now that you're here, I can do it here in person. And good afternoon to Ange So. She says hi, Sean and Dani. Good to see you. Hope you and family are feeling well. I hope you are doing well too, because I know you've had some health issues. So hopefully you are starting to recover on that. Yeah, she's been a long time supporter of my channel, and everybody, like a lot of the names I see here in the chat, have been supporting the channel for such a long time.
Yeah, I was watching all the green pop-ups show up about your members. That's awesome. That's so amazing. We just started the membership thing on my channel about earlier this year, because I think I hit the members mark in January. So I think I rolled that out in February. So I don't have nearly as many members as you do, or them being members as long. But we do have some member perks that we offer on our channel. If anyone is interested in those, you can go check them out.
Yeah, and I think it's great that you have the perks. I just don't have the bandwidth at this present time to offer a lot of perks. So mine is just there more for if you want to support the channel in that way. So I'd like to do member Zooms or member things at some point, and that's kind of in the back of my mind, but I just don't want to commit to something that I would have to cancel or reschedule a bunch of times. So
no, I get that. Yeah, it took me a while before I could really get that kind of the program kind of off and running. I think I had the members program set up in February, and I wasn't able to start my members perks until like May. By the time I got it all organized and figured out what I was doing with it. I think I've got it pretty well under control now. For my members right now, we're meeting right now every other Monday because we're working on a project together. It's a solo-along. But that project is just about completed, and then we'll probably take a little bit of a break, and then I'll come up with another project. But then I also have some mailings that I do. I mentioned it earlier. Depending on because I have different levels of membership, so depending on which level of membership you sign up for, you will get some extra perks in the mail from me. And basically the fee that you pay each month, the membership fee that you pay, basically just covers the postage. There's really not a whole lot of extra in there. But if you want a little happy mail, it's kind of a little bit of an incentive to get some happy mail from me and become part of the members only live streams and things like that. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think that's fantastic. It's something I'd like to do at some point down the road, but I don't know. Like I find that after I work full time like you do, and
yep, I do.
Most of the year we've got the exchange students here with us, and usually, it seems like I do my lives on a Saturday morning, and then as soon as the live is over, usually I'm like running out the door to take the kids somewhere. So your kids are a little older now and they're more self-sufficient, right? They can drive themselves and you don't have to do as much with them,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, I have twin daughters, and then I also have three stepdaughters. Two of them are also twins, so I have twin daughters of my own, and
Oh,
then twin stepdaughters of my own. So between us, we have five girls. They're all 2 years apart, which is kind of fun. Like the one set of twins, and then the next set is 2 years, and then the third one is 2 years. So that's a lot of fun. But yeah, so all of our kids are graduated high school. Four of the five have graduated from college. In fact, my twins, the ones that I gave birth to, they graduated in May. So that's really exciting. We've been kind of following their journey as to them getting their jobs within their careers. One of them has obtained a job in teaching. She's going to be a third grade teacher in August, which is really exciting for her.
wow,
The
that's
other one is
cool.
still kind of she's still kind of playing it around. She kind of decided to take the summer off because she was working really hard because she got she had a double major, so she worked really hard the last couple of years. So she's decided she was going to take the summer off, which is totally fine. And then we have our youngest, my stepdaughter, my husband's daughter, our youngest. She's second year. She would have been second year in college this year, but she decided college really wasn't for her. And it's not for everybody. It really is not for everybody. So she decided to enter her career into a trade instead.
Oh,
So that's where
fantastic.
she's working there. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah, we have a decent family. I feel bad for my husband. I call him Mr. Wizard. There's a long story behind that, but so Mr. Wizard has been run over by women because, of course, he's used to it by now. I mean, we've been around a long time. But yeah, so he was in the house with six girls and one bathroom. That's we like
Oh,
to tell
wow.
people. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we have six girls, one bathroom. So yeah, so I'm really used to being chatty in our household, and Mr. Wizard is really used to just being quiet and listening.
There you go. I can relate to that sometimes.
Yep. He's used to not really being able to talk much.
There you go. That's fun. It's always good to hear those stories, and just learn more about our quilting friends. I think with Mike, you get to see we see your daughters on your stuff and that sort of thing there a lot, and you get to see our kids um, on the podcast a lot because you get to see the different adventures we get up to. My wife and I don't have any of our own natural children. That wasn't in the cards, but we now have. We've had 7 graduates in this
Wow,
exchange students. Yep,
it's
and
so
yes,
amazing.
yeah,
One of these
seven.
days, and I keep telling Mr. Wizard, we have one daughter that's moved back home after she graduated, so we don't really have the space right now. But I keep telling Mr. Wizard, I said I would really like to do that, and they have programs here by me, but I would really like to try to do that at least one time, just to say that I did it, but to be able to host
Well,
students in our home, I would love to be able to do that sometime.
if there ever becomes a
Maybe
thing
someday.
that, yeah, if there ever be, and this goes for anybody. If anyone ever feels led to go down that path, it is absolutely fantastic. It's well worth it. Um,
It
please
sounds
reach.
like it would be very rewarding. Like just
It
like
is.
raising a child can be very rewarding. Although let's face it, if you are a parent, that job never ends. It never
Yeah.
ends. But I feel like hosting a student would be very rewarding, and you'd feel like you were kind of giving back to the community and giving back to their future a little bit. So that I've been intrigued by it for a long time, and then when I met you, Sean, and you told me about how you did that, I was like, it was even more intrigued. And now with my girls, growing up and our house becoming more empty and us having the space, it's like, maybe we should try doing something like that someday.
Yeah. Well, if you ever have questions or you're more interested in getting set up or anything else like that, please reach out. I'm happy to answer
Oh
questions.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, you will be the first person I call if that's something we decide to do.
Yeah,
For
and
sure.
that's yeah, pretty much goes for anybody. Let's see. Mona says there's a ton of foster kids that need homes too, and that's definitely a wonderful project as well, and so true. We tried the foster thing, and it just wasn't for us
Yeah,
as
I
well.
did look into the fostering thing, and unfortunately, at least because of my work schedule, I'm away from home too often. It's kind of like adopting a
Yeah,
dog. I'm away from home a little too often, and they don't feel that that's a good fit for
right.
our family. And that's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, I understand there are, those children that have certain needs that that I'm just not able to meet, and so hopefully there is
right.
someone else out there that can meet them for them.
Yeah. So, it's if you ever think about, if you're serious about either one of those, yeah, definitely reach out to folks and just see what's needed, because there's definitely a need out there for them. The hosting's a little easier because the kids are pretty self-sufficient. We just give them the school's down very, very close to us. So we can just give them a house key and say, okay, get yourself to school. I don't want to see any tardy slips, and that sort of thing
Yeah,
there. So, but yeah, no, both programs are very, very valuable. So
right.
there you
Yeah,
go.
for sure.
Let's see. Mona says it can be heartbreaking. My niece has adopted two boys. That is fantastic. Um, I have adopted people. Let's see. I think several of my aunts are adopted. There's adopted folks on my wife's side as well. So yeah, it's
Wow.
fantastic for anyone that pops in there and says yes, I will help. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's fantastic for anyone that's able to do that. So I did see someone earlier, Christina. I think I've got to say hi to you early this morning, and I apologize for that. Um, I don't know. My brain's so scattered. I see stuff, and then it kind of sits, and then like we get talking, and then I forget to say hi. So
I
there
have
you go.
ADHD, so I often forget things and I get distracted and I go off on tangents. And so my poor community, sometimes I really am truly grateful to them because they are able to follow along because sometimes even I'm not able to follow along. But they keep me focused. So I'm really grateful to them. But yeah, I have a tendency to go off on tangents.
Yeah, I do too, and I'm so thankful that people stick around, and then they, even better, they come back.
Oh,
Like
yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
they,
sometimes like I joke all the time. I'm like, I am so grateful to each and every single subscriber and just viewer of my channel because I'd say, let's face it, I wouldn't watch myself. I wouldn't follow myself. So thank you for doing that because I know I wouldn't.
that's always been something that I've always tried very hard to do on my channel is not put out content that I wouldn't watch myself. Sometimes I'm sitting there thinking, okay, yeah, like, every time I get off a live, I think I'm a hot mess every week.
Well,
But
and
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And like the content I put out, I mean, I feel like I would enjoy the content, but watching
yeah,
myself like being a hot mess and just completely scattered and completely unorganized, yeah, I wouldn't be able to handle that. That would make me personally crazy. so so it shocks me every time I look on my channel and I see how many subscribers I have. Like, my gosh.
yeah. But I think that people just enjoy listening to us, and because I've heard a lot of people put us, especially the replay viewers, they'll put it on while they sew, and that way they've got someone's there with them, because like I'm fortunate in this house, well, it's fortunate in some ways, and not as fortunate in others when it comes to recording because I'm in an open floor plan here, so like I'm right next to the living room, so I can hang out with the family while I'm sewing, but then when it comes to recording, I have to kind of wait till everyone's asleep. So, it's good in that way. But yeah, for some folks, like if you got your own dedicated room, especially if it's like a bedroom or something, you're kind of in there by yourself. So it's kind of neat that you have this opportunity to, turn on a live and listen to us, chat to you, and, and the community has fun, watching a replay or being in a live chat and that sort of thing there as well. And then plus you come on here, you never know what we're going to talk about either, which is
Never
fun.
know.
So
And I am truly fortunate that I do have my own sewing studio now. I did not start out that way. Because my kids have grown up and moved out of the house, I now have extra bedrooms. And so I was able to take over one of them. But I started my channel and I started my sewing career at my kitchen table because that was the only space I had.
hey, you do what you got to do.
Progressively grew from there. So if you look at some of the videos on my channel from way back when I first started, at one point I was actually sharing my sewing space with my daughter. It was like the corner of her bedroom. She allowed me to put my sewing cabinet because this is like you guys can't see it, but this was a sewing cabinet here, and she allowed me to put my sewing cabinet in her room, but I had to close it up every day so that it didn't take up a lot of space, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
But it was like every day before I would turn my live on, I would have to open everything up, set it all up, make it look like I was doing this the whole time, and then
Right.
shut it all back down at the end. So I am very grateful for my space now that I'm able to just get up and walk out the door and not have to worry about it. But that's where I started. I had very humble beginnings, and then and so I feel for anyone else that has those same beginnings, because I was there. I was there. I know how it feels. I can empathize and sympathize with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of us started that way. Laura Lynn from Mom and Pop Quilt Shop is saying, same. She started on the kitchen table. I mean, I started here in the dining room, and I just haven't left. I've just taken over the entire room. And if you want a formal dinner at this house, you're out of luck, because that'll never happen again. I've come to grips with it. My wife's come to accept it.
Too
Just the way
funny.
it is. I did think, a couple of years ago, I did think about, because we got 3 bedrooms here, and I thought, okay, well, the third bedroom we're not using, well, I'll set up a recording studio up there, and then we started hosting 2 kids, so that went out the window as well. So
Yeah.
you make do with what you have. So there you go. Rita says when she was younger, she hosted young adults from other countries. It was really amazing. Wish I was able to do it now. Have the space, just not the health. Yeah, and that's totally understandable. Like, you want to make sure that you're physically able to do it. But
For
yeah, it's
sure.
an amazing experience if you're able to do it. If you have questions, please reach out. I'm happy to answer questions. People ask all the time about the girls, where they come from, what that sort of thing there is. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and she, we've talked about it for years, and she was like, you know what, I think I'm ready to do it. So, that'll be exciting, because then, I'd love to be able to hang up with her and in that way.
Yeah.
So,
Share experiences. That'll be nice.
yeah.
That'll be nice.
She's getting ready to retire, fairly soon. She's like, this would be really fun. So I'm not here to, try and convince or anything. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if it's something that you're interested in or you have questions, please do not feel bad about reaching out. I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. Regina says her daughter lived with a host family when she did a study abroad in Australia this past spring. She totally enjoyed her time there. Do you know what part of Australia she was in? I'd love to hear. It's probably someplace amazing, because everything down there seems to be fun. Yeah. All right. So Jess says she'd like to be a foster parent someday. That'll be fun. Yeah. Um, it's a lot of work. You'll at least how it was here in Virginia. You went to like classes every week for,
Yep.
I think it was like 6 months. I think it was, and a lot of background checks and everything else there. They do a really good job about training you on a lot of stuff and how to do it, and they really try to vet people really,
That's
really
good.
well.
That's
Yeah.
really good that they do that. I mean, I know that unfortunately, there's always bad apples in every bunch. So it's good that they try to weed them out as much as possible.
I think they really are trying to sit. I don't know how it is in other states and that sort of thing there, but I know that having gone through that process here in Virginia, they do the very, very best they can, to try and make sure that the people doing it are doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
All right, so we've been working on this for a while. I've got this part done.
Yay.
Yeah, rocking right along with this.
I think
That.
talking to you has distracted me from not overthinking this, and I'm actually making less mistakes. Of course, I should probably knock on wood somewhere, because I just probably jinxed myself. But yeah.
Good morning, Miss Joyce. It's good to see you. Nikki says, my old house, I had a loft I used for my sewing area. Then we moved to the house we're currently in. I've been in the living room, the family room, and now my daughter moved out and took over a bedroom. Yeah, once your kids leave, beware that they tend to become sewing rooms. And that was my
It's free
plan.
game, yeah, yeah. I've told my husband, Mr. Wizard, I told him, I said, once the kids are officially moved out, like I said, I have the one that came back for the summer, but once she moves out, I said, I would like to keep at least one spare bed in our house,
Right.
just so that because our kids have kind of spread out throughout the country. So I like to have at least one spare bed in the house, so that when they do come home to visit, they have a place to stay and they don't feel like they have to stay in a hotel. I'm like,
Right.
but otherwise, my husband, he makes model cars, the little bitty
Okay.
ones.
Yeah.
So that's what he does, and he has his own studio in the garage. He prefers it out in the garage as opposed to in the house, which is weird, but whatever, it's fine. So he's out in the garage, but I have told him before that he can move his stuff into the other room when the kids aren't home. When the kids are home, they need their space. But I've told him, I said, if you want to move your stuff in there, you're welcome to do it. So
Right.
he will move in here in the winter, because here in the Midwest it gets really cold and snowy, and it's not conducive for painting and things like that. So he usually moves indoors for the winter, but he
Right, man.
prefers to be in the garage for most of the year. So
That's fun. It's probably like his space, and everyone's
yeah,
different.
yep, yep. Oh, this is the wrong
There
one.
you go. Joyce says both spare bedrooms are all hers. That's cool. As I said, I was all about taking over that extra room to like set up as a recording studio, so I could go in there and like just record stuff, and it didn't matter if somebody else was up or not. But
Mm-hmm.
it's good. It's good that the rooms are being used. It probably won't be used this year because we only have the one kid. We wanted to have two, but um, the schools here, and it's probably similar in most areas, they'll only accept a certain number of exchange students. And by the time we picked the second kid, the school had already filled that quota. So,
Well,
but that's okay. Like one kid versus two, it's still good. It's going to make my life a lot easier when I go to the restaurants and stuff because I'm only feeding three people instead of four. So,
oh yeah, definitely. Those restaurants are disgustingly expensive anymore.
yeah.
Everything is so expensive anymore. Just grocery shopping in general. My goodness.
I know I always cry when I go there, but we'll move on from that because we try to keep
Yeah,
we try to
yeah,
keep
yeah.
things positive here.
No, I
So,
agree. I agree 100%. Yep.
it was kind of nice. Like I went to a quilt store that I had not been to before last week. It's run by a couple of friends of mine that I met at a quilt shop a couple of years ago. They had an online store and they moved into a physical location. And I was in their area at the right time last week because usually when I'm up there, it's the day they're off. And
Figures, right?
her prices were still really, really good. Um,
Good. I'm glad to hear
yeah,
that.
yeah, and that's something she told me. When I was talking, I intended to be there for like half an hour, 45 minutes. I ended up spending 3.5 hours there,
I don't
catching
think
up.
I've ever been to a cold store and only been there for half an hour, unless it was like just before they were closing.
I'm usually well, yeah, about half an hour to an hour is about my average. Like if I go to any store, like if I go to Target, Walmart, grocery store, I have a list. I go in, I get my need, and I get out. I worked in retail far too long to want to spend time just wandering around for the sake of it. Fabric stores are a little different. I will spend some time wandering, but still, again, like 45 minutes an hour is usually about my max. Except for when I bought all the stuff for Wizard of Oz. I think I spent 2 hours there picking out fabric.
Oh
But
my
yeah, no.
goodness.
So I intended to be there for about an hour. I had about an hour to kill before I had to go drop off some quilts. And yeah, that ended up being 3.5 hours. But it was great being able to catch up with Angel and her husband. I think his name was Eric. And cute store, well worth visiting. They are wonderful people. Their assistant, think his name was Michael. He was absolutely fantastic as well. So if you're ever in the Williamsburg area, definitely go check them out. It's called Halo Inspirations. If you don't remember the name of the store, shoot me a message. I'll get you sorted out. I think they're having like their 2-year celebration today as well. So
Wow,
um,
congrats to them. 2 years. That's
yeah,
cool.
I'm excited for them. They're actually they're doing well. Apparently, they're trying to expand into a newer space because they've outgrown the one that they have. So that's an excellent problem for them to have.
That's an excellent problem to have. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. They had a wonderful selection of fabric. Their notions were top notch. Like pretty much anything you needed, she has. And they're just doing a
Especially
lot of stuff.
nowadays with all the quilt stores closing, to hear another one that's expanding, that's so great to hear.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. Like I asked him about this too, but like the one I usually go to on this side of the water, um, ah, Fabric Cut. ever since Joanne's closed, those folks, like that parking lot has been jam packed full. And I was asking Eric about that last week too. I said, like, have you guys noticed an uptick? And he's like, yes. So I'm kind of hoping that, like, yeah, a lot of quilt stores have closed, but the fact that, one of their big competitors is now gone may actually be a really, really good thing for them.
Yeah. Oh, I agree 100%. Yeah. I hate to see any company close, no matter the size,
Oh,
because that just
for
means a lot of
sure.
people are now out of work for sure. But at the same time, I think it will be a nice benefit. It will be a nice thing for local businesses, smaller
Right.
local businesses, will hopefully increase their own sales.
Yeah, and that's what I've noticed here so far. I mean, I miss Joanne. I go in there and get stuff quite a bit. Especially the thread. Thankfully, I was smart a few years ago and kind of stocked up every time they had a sale, so I have enough thread to keep myself going for a couple of years. Otherwise, I'd be in a lot of trouble. So there you go. Angie's asking, am I planning on entering any shows this year? Yes, I am planning on entering the state fair as I usually do. I have a couple of quilts in mind to enter. Now, how many actually will get finished in time will remain to be seen. But I am planning on entering the doll quilt category. And that is going to be very, very tough this year because I've seen some of my competition already. One of my friends who's planning on entering showed me her quilt the other day, and I was like, "Good golly, Miss Molly, I'm in a lot of trouble." And then I think Ian from the Off Kilter Crafter is planning on entering, and he does fantastic work. But we're going to have a lot of fun. Whether we get ribbons or not this year will remain to be seen. But we'll have some fun with it, and then I might enter a couple of different other categories if we can get the quilts done. So yes, answer to that is yes. We will share more about that as it gets closer because the submission date is usually the beginning of September. So I've got a little bit of time, not much, because it rolls around so quickly. But you'll all get to see more about that once we get a little closer. Okay, Zaza is here. Good afternoon. Nikki says she's in and out of most quilt shops, but if she goes to Missouri Star Quilt Co., it takes longer. I love all the different stores, and they have a man cave with a pool table and recliners and a big TV. Yeah, I'd like to go take a look at that someday, but it's kind of a hike for me to get out there. I mean, it's a lot closer for a lot of you, so I don't know. Maybe one day. All right, let's see. Oh, sure. Sherry is here. It's good to see you. Did I miss anybody else? Oh, yeah. Kathy from My Hobby Home is here with us as well. So it's good to see you as well. And people pop in as we're talking, and then I get to say hi to them. I'm terrible at that. And I'm trying to be better. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I say that all the time on my channel. I absolutely hate it when I miss people. It makes me so mad because, they take time out of their day to spend time
Mhm.
with me. The least I can do is say hello to them, and it makes me crazy. So
Yeah.
I'm always throughout the channel telling people, make sure you tag me in chat if I didn't say hello to you, so I can, because
Oh,
it
yeah,
makes
for
me feel
sure.
terrible. I did see Katie Crafts pop in. I'm not sure if you saw her or if you said hello to her, but I know she's a subscriber of my channel, so I just wanted to
Oh,
say
yeah.
hi to
She's been
her.
watching mine
Hi,
for a
Katie.
long, long time.
I know
Hey,
I've seen her over. She's a longtime subscriber of my channel too, so I appreciate her over there as well.
yep. We've got the best community here. So many people have been here for so long. They come in, week out, see all the stuff that we do.
Oh, for sure. I think the quilting community as a whole, because I'm also a computer gamer. Like, I like to play computer games and stuff. So I'm a
Mhm.
part of that community as well. And that community is so much different than the quilting
Yeah,
community, the digital quilting community. It's night and day, the differences. And I just feel like these crafting and creative communities are so wonderful. They're all just so appreciative and open and welcoming to new members and helpful when you're struggling with something, giving you advice and tips and tricks and things like that. I feel like the community as a whole is just so amazing. I was so grateful when
oh,
I when I first got into this hobby, I mean, I've always loved sewing, but when I first got into like the quilting community, when I first joined it, I was so grateful with how open and welcoming everyone is.
Oh, for sure. And that's not something I expected. Like I started the channel because like I think I've told the story before, and if you've heard it 5 times, I apologize in advance. But my wife watches a lot of knitting podcasts and that sort of thing there, and these people are getting stuff done. And I was like, okay, well maybe if I start a channel, I'll get some stuff done. And that was kind of the inspiration for me doing it. And but yet the community and just the help and everything else that I've seen over the years has just been an unexpected blessing, and I'm so thankful for it.
Mm-hmm. 100%. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to ask the same question. It's Hash is asking you, what games do you play?
What games do I play? I like simulator games. I don't like the the games that people are playing right now, like all those shoot 'em up games. And I don't like violence, so I don't like those types of games. I prefer simulator games. So there's one called American Truck Simulator where you
That
drive a
one's
semi
yeah,
truck and you like pick up stuff, and yeah, I love that. I absolutely love it.
that's
I
a
don't
fun
know why,
game.
but
Yep.
I do. I love it. I love just kind of like it's like this leisure driving. It's a lot of fun, so I enjoy that one. There's one called Farming Simulator where you're basically a farmer and you run a farm and you have to run all the implements and machinery and things like that. So I really enjoyed that one as well. Sims, I know everybody knows the Sims game. Most
Yeah.
everybody knows what the Sims game is, and I do like that one too as well. So I'm really more into the relaxing games. I do have some games in my arsenal that I like to play that are more strategic. So they're like building a warehouse or managing a business or managing a city or things like that. So I do have some strategic games as well, but I'm not into your role play games or your the Grand Theft Auto or done. I don't even know what the other ones are. World of Warcraft, or I'm not into any of those. Those are just not my. I've tried to play them because like those are the thing right now. And I've tried to play them to see if that's something that I enjoy, and I just really don't enjoy it at all because I'm not a person who enjoys violence or things like that. So I
Right.
do things. I prefer things that are a little bit more relaxing. That just kind of let me get out of my everyday elements in my everyday life and just kind of allow me to relax a little bit as opposed to getting frustrated.
Oh, for sure. That makes a lot of sense. Sorry, I'm trying to count.
Ark
Um,
Survival, I have heard of that, Tasha. I've watched a couple of YouTubers play that game. I have not tried it out myself. The one thing that I do say is I'm not really big on first person view games. They make me dizzy. I've learned this over the years. I have to have a third person view. So, for those of you who don't play computer games, a first person view is basically where you are the camera. There's no like a body, it's just the camera moves to wherever you need it to go, and that's a first person view. Whereas a third person view is like you actually have like a character and you're following, you're like the drone behind the character following behind it. And so the first person views, they make me dizzy because of the movement of them. So I can't really play any of those games. But if they have a third person option, because some people have like different camera options, and if they have a third person option, then usually I can play it. So either I'll play like a third person type of game simulator, or I'll play where I'm just managing the whole. I'm not actually a character, and I'm just managing like a building or a city or something. But I have heard of those survival games. I love watching people play them, so I do watch a lot of YouTubers play them. But I personally can't play them myself because I get too dizzy from them. I've actually like made myself sick, like dizzy wise, from some of those games, and I've had to turn them off. So, but that one is a
yeah,
fun one. That Ark Survival is a fun one to watch.
yeah, and I said like a couple of other people here, Rita and Laura Lynn, also said the first person one to make them feel ill and sick. So apparently,
Yeah, and
I've
it
never
doesn't
heard of it.
matter what type of sensitivity I've set because I have tried. Because there are a couple of games that I would really love to be able to play, but I've tried the different sensitivities, and I after about 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, I feel dizzy. I just can't do this. So those are unfortunate. So if you're a game developer, make sure you offer a third person view. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I agree.
A lot of games now have mods too, like if you, especially if it's on PC.
Yeah.
So that might be something to look into if you ever want to play a game. Maybe see if there is a mod
Yep.
that has a third person. you, because that might be something to look at. Katie Cross says, on the topic of getting stuff done, I'll be doing the hand stitching on the 100-acre wood blocks today. Oh, that is fantastic. So with that project, I don't know that I have one close enough to grab. There is some hand stitching that you do. It's hand embroidery. And it's not as bad as you think it is, I promise you, Dani, because, like, to me, like...
Okay, good, because I as soon as I see hand stitching, I'm out. I
Well,
am terrible at hand stitching.
well, this actually is a good way for you to get better at it, because you use
Okay.
embroidery thread, which is thicker, and I had it near me where I could grab it earlier. I didn't know I was going to talk about this, but it's thicker thread, and that sort of thing there, so it's easier, and you're only stitching a little bit, like you're putting like the word honey on the side of the pots on the
Oh,
project
gotcha. Okay.
itself. Yeah, so
Do they give
it's a
you
good
like a
way to...
template or something to try and
Yes,
figure out how to do
yes.
it, or
Yeah, you get a template, and again, let me see if I have it within reach. I'm
that
not
wouldn't
getting
be too
enough.
bad? I mean, I do cross
Oh, here
stitching,
we
but
go.
that's cross stitching to me is easy, especially if you use the weave, the woven fabric to do it because it's got the little holes in it. So then that way I can do that. But like when I'm
Yeah,
just hand sewing, I am terrible at it. Oh yeah,
yes,
okay. So now how do you use that? Do you like just put that right on the fabric and then sew on it, or?
yes. Well, you put this on underneath the fabric, and then you can use what they call an unmarking. Well, I'm sure there's other products on the market, but they also sell what they call an unmarking pen, which is just looks like a little highlighter, and it's like one of them friction pens. It's just a pen, and you
Oh, gotcha.
mark the
Okay, so
fabric.
you put that underneath the fabric, so it's like a stencil almost, and then you just
Yeah,
draw it out.
you
And
draw it on there, and then you
okay,
just
I gotcha.
stitch along. And
I gotcha.
if you happen to buy this pattern and want to do this, John, who created the pattern, has done fantastic tutorial videos, which is part of your part of it all, and teaches you how to do this. Because when I started that, I had no idea how to do it, and he said, "Okay, look, we're doing these tutorial videos. It'll explain it all. Don't worry about it." And
Oh, those are nice.
yeah, he was true to his word. Like, he does it step by step, really nicely. And after watching that, I was like, okay, I think I can do this. And it's not very much. Like Katie's saying, he has only a few accents and a few blocks. You're not doing a whole lot. I wish I had one of the blocks nearby. I think I put them all away. Silly me. Why did I do something silly like that? Yeah, I think I put them away. But it's not very much. It's, like for poo, I think it was like one straight stitch up to connect the balloon.
Oh, okay.
To Yeah,
So it's
it's not
really
a
just like
whole
an
lot.
accent stitch, basically. Well, that's good.
Yes, very much so. Yes, don't let that put you off doing that block.
Yeah, well, I mentioned earlier that this year, the projects that I've chosen this year, I'm trying to test my skills a little bit, or kind of trying to teach myself some new techniques. And I'm actually going to be taking, and I don't normally do this, my community knows this, but I'm actually going to be taking a couple of quilting classes, which there's nothing wrong with taking a quilting class. I think they're fantastic. I just don't normally do them because they don't usually jive with my schedule, and I feel like the prices are a little bit outrageous sometimes. But I am actually going to be signing up. I've signed up for a couple of quilting classes to learn a couple of new techniques that I want to learn to do them. I want to do them better on the channel, and in the hobby, I guess is probably a good word. I just don't know how, and so I feel like taking the class is going to help me a little bit more, build up my confidence, if nothing else,
Yeah,
so I can turn the camera on and not look like a complete blubbering idiot when when I try and show you guys what I'm doing. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to be taking an applique class, which is a technique that I have not really learned how to. I mean, I know the concept, but I've never really done it. So I'm excited to do that.
yeah.
And then I've also taken a class on bag making because I know
Oh,
that's
that
been a
is
big
good.
one over the last few years. And I would actually like, for fundamental reasons, I would like to make a couple of bags for myself for different purposes. So I'm excited about doing that one as well. And again, they're just kind of to build up my confidence a little bit more so that I can make more projects and other projects on the channel. So I'm excited for those.
Applique's fun. I need to do more of that. I feel like I'm fairly confident in that aspect. Um, but yeah, it'd be good for you to learn that. It's a wonderful technique to learn. It's not as hard as you think it is. So, I'm hoping that class will definitely give you the confidence that you need, because I'm sure you have the skill set right there. And if they don't teach you freezer paper applique, you need to put that in your thing too, because that's amazing. It's makes life so much easier.
Freezer paper applique.
Yeah, basically what you do is, like, if you're tracing out like uh let's say you want to do a crocodile or a kangaroo, which I've done
Okay.
before. You find a
Right.
you find a stencil of whatever you want to applique, and
Okay.
you get your freezer paper from like your grocery store. Just that stuff there.
Right.
You put that over the stencil. You trace it out, cut it out, and then you iron the freezer paper onto your fabric.
Oh,
You cut it out, and then
I've seen freezer paper for paper piecing, but I've never seen it for
yeah,
applique before. That's interesting.
yeah, and that way it peels straight off. It doesn't leave any residue on most fabrics. You might want to test it first just to be sure.
Right.
But I've used it several times. Someone introduced it to me a couple of years ago, and I gave it a try. And yeah, now it's just I won't go back. Like for tracing and that sort of thing, there, freezer paper is just about
Interesting.
impossible to beat. There is a video that I put out last year where it shows me using it on like all these. I think I did crocodiles and kangaroos, wombats,
Huh.
Tasmanian devils, and all that sort of stuff there, and it was so easy. Um, okay, Rita says you can also use coffee filters as a stencil. You sew it on and then peel it off. Okay, so yeah, there's different way. I did not know about that one, but
Coffee filters. That's interesting.
oh, stop. Machine needs
I
to rest.
wonder, Rita, have you tried the paper? Have you tried the freezer paper method as well? Why do you? I'm curious to know why you would you prefer one over the other from a
Maybe you,
an educational standpoint. If you have,
maybe you ran out of freezer paper, but everybody has coffee filters.
I mean, exactly. Yeah, I mean that could
I mean,
be it. But I'm always curious to know why people choose one technique over another, especially when
yeah,
it's a technique that I don't know a lot about. I like to know, kind of what the pros and cons are of different ways.
me the freezer paper was definitely just the fact that you could. It's so easy to trace on, and
Mhm.
then get it onto the fabric. Because like I used to
Yeah.
struggle like cutting out the right shape when you just a
Mm,
piece of paper, that sort of thing there as well. Rita
gotcha.
says she uses freezer paper all the time, and Ez says she uses coffee filters. I'm going to have to um, look into this coffee filter thing now, because that would be interesting. See, I'm always learning stuff on these lives.
I'm
Every
telling you. Well,
week.
that's why I tell people all the time. As is the name of my channel, I am not the expert. It's everybody in chat. They're the ones teaching me.
Yeah. Well, you've got to figure between the how many we got here today? 60 right now.
Wow,
Let's say
that's great.
let's say we all have 10 years of experience average. Now I know some of us have 40 or 50 or 60 or beyond, and some of us are five, and I think I've got 12 or whatever it is. But let's say 10 is an average, very conservative. We've got 600 years of experience here.
Right.
That number may be closer to 800 or 1,000. If we've got a lot of long time sewists here. So, make use of the resources we have here. And if you have a question, as a viewer, put it in one of our, like, put it in Danny's Facebook group, put it in my Discord group, put it in your favorite content creators group. Someone in the chat or in those groups most likely will have the answer for you.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I don't do a lot on social media. I don't really have the time or patience for it, if I'm being honest. But I do have a Facebook group. We do have a Facebook community, and the originally the community was created just so that my subscribers could share their projects with me, because YouTube is fantastic at being able to communicate and things like that, but it doesn't really allow for the subscribers to be able to share pictures and videos with us. And so that's why I kind of went to Facebook and said, okay, I want to see what you guys are doing. So send me your stuff so that keep me motivated. Let's talk, let's be a community. But and it's kind of evolved over the last couple of years as the channel has evolved as well into a plethora of tips and tricks and tutorials and fabric swaps, and it's an amazing community, and I'm so grateful that we have it as part of our I don't want to say community again, but I guess it really is as part of our community, as part
It
of
is.
our arsenal of tools to learn from.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and I think that's fantastic. YouTube is actually starting to do something where viewers can post pictures and stuff on our community tabs.
Oh, interesting.
But the only issue I've run into is that I've had someone's posted stuff on there for me to look at, and I can't comment on it. I have
Huh.
not figured it. I don't know why. I've tried several different ways. I don't know how it's worked. I think it's on the app or whatever. I don't know. I've got to play with it some more. But keep an eye out for that. So that apparently is going to become an option in the very near future for everybody, if
And
not
I think that'll
already.
be great because it'll kind of because not everybody has Facebook or Instagram or any of those things. So,
Yeah,
but everybody is on YouTube, obviously, because they're watching the channel. So that would be really helpful.
yeah. Yeah, I think they're still working out the bugs on that. So yeah, and Andy is
Gotcha.
here. She says the new community posts on YouTube are great. Now that people can add photo posts to other channels. So yeah, I'll have to play with it again. I got something the other day that said it only worked on the app, so maybe that's what I was doing wrong because I was trying to reply to it on the computer. So I don't know, but yeah, keep an eye out for that. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, Danny.
I learn from my community probably more than they learn from me for sure. And
I feel
just them posting their pictures really keeps me motivated, especially on those days because I think we all have those days where we're in a rut where we're our creative brains are blocked or we're not feeling all that motivated, but we also know if we get in and we start to work on something, it will, the motivation will come and then it will feel better, kind of thing. So those are the times where I'm really reaching out to my community and looking at all the things that they're doing, and that kind of builds up the momentum for me to say, okay, yes, I can do this. I can go in and I can get this done. I mean, I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but that's the way I do it. But it works really well, and so I'm always grateful to them for posting all those pictures because it keeps me going. Sean, looks like you're working on some flying geese there, or are those?
yes.
Is that a border, or is that for something else?
No, it's going to be the bottom. Okay, so let me see if I can. It's going to attach this once I figure out why it's two different lengths. I'm sure that I didn't. I ran into the same issue with the dog as well. I thought my seam allowance is right, but maybe it isn't. And if that's the case, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. So we've got this. So it's kind of like the body of the dog with the ghost sheet underneath it. And
Oh,
that'll
I see.
attach,
Gotcha.
it'll eventually attach to the head, like
Oh,
so.
so cute. So
Yeah.
cute.
So I'm just trying to figure out why this is not behaving. P18. Okay, so that's the right length. So obviously I've done something wrong with these. Don't know why it's doing this. Nice to chop his leg off a little bit. That's okay.
You're just making creative adjustments. That's all.
I'm going to, yeah. It's fine. I'm just trying to figure out how to do this so it doesn't look terrible. Yeah, I'm going to have to go do another test of my seam allowance because I think it's okay. And maybe an issue. I don't know. We'll work it out. But I think I have a solution, so we'll find out in just a minute, won't we?
We will all say a collective prayer for you.
Oh, yeah. It'll be fine. If worst comes to worst, we'll pull out my very, very bestest friend. And
There you go, the co-host of the show.
yes. Katie Cross says here that a friend of hers was making flying geese, and she said they looked like limping pigeons. Now I think of it every time I hear flying geese. I love that.
My mom joins me. So every once a month on Saturday evenings, I'll do a what we call the After Dark edition live stream because things can get a little
Oh, your mom's a
they're
hoot.
not always PG because we're usually partaking in some adult beverages and there's usually a lot of giggles and things like that. But my mom usually joins me on that one. We call her Mama Joyce, and she flying geese are her least favorite block, and she just goes off on a tangent every time we have to make flying geese, and I don't really understand why because they turn out just fine. But I don't know if it's the technique or what it is. But she is not a fan of flying geese. Not a fan at all. So every time we make anything with half square triangles, she's like, "We're not making flying geese, are we?" I'm like, "No, mom, it's just half square triangles. I promise." She's like, "Those might be just as bad."
Yeah, no, she's a hoot. If you haven't checked out the After Dark edition, you really should do it at least once. Like, go check out one of the replays because yeah, her mom is an absolute hoot. She's a lot of fun. So
She's very silly, that is for sure.
I think it's fantastic that you have your mom there to be able to do that with. So
Yeah, my mom has always been a sewer. I mean, I got my crafting bug from her when I was a little kid, but she's never been a quilter. Quilting has just never been part of her her repertoire. And then after I
yeah,
joined the quilting community and started making a bunch of quilts, she decided, well, I seem to be having a really great time at it. She wants to get back into the hobby of sewing and things from a mental health standpoint. And so she's like, can I join you on one of these, cotton cuts projects? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, you can anytime you want to. And so she joined me, her and one of her best friends joined me for a cotton cuts project. We worked on it, and everything was pre-cut, so she didn't have to worry about any of that. And they had such a great time that I say that they caught the bug because everybody knows what that is, the
yeah.
quilting bug. And they caught the bug. And so now she's been making her and my aunt did the same thing, but she doesn't join me on camera. But they have been making quilts on their own and they've been doing a lot of fun projects. They've joined the last 3 cotton cuts projects all on their own because I didn't join them, but they did all on their own. So they've been really, truly enjoying it. And having a great time. And then I don't know if I mentioned it, but one of my moderators, I have 3, but one of my moderators, my original one, he's a young man who is actually the fiance of one of my daughters, Lucas. He's never sewn a day in his life. He's not a crafter at all. He's a 100% gamer. He's like the Pokemon, Fortnite gamer. He's one of those kind of kids and super smart kid. But he's been a moderator on my channel, which has been really great for me because he's helped me with a lot of the computer stuff and things like that because he's way smarter than I am. And so he asked me one time, he says, he goes, I see how much fun you have with this, and I'd really like to make one of these projects for my grandma. Can you work on it with me? And yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to. And so we brought him in to the channel and put him in front of the camera as opposed to behind it, helping me with stuff. He was in front of the camera and we did Wild West was the cotton cuts that we did. And so he learned how to do not only sewing, but quilting from a cotton cuts project, which we said we're putting cotton cuts to the test. Like they've been a fantastic with regards to someone who knows how to sew but doesn't necessarily know how to quilt for a first project. We put them, but then we brought in someone who's never even sewn before and tried to give them a cotton cuts project to see just how easy they are to work on for someone who's just starting in the hobby. And he has done fantastic. In fact, I just picked up his quilt from the long arm and we're going to be putting the binding on it here in a couple weeks. And he's really nervous about it, but he's just so cute. But so I mean, if you're new to the hobby, I strongly encourage you to go check out cotton cuts, especially. I mean, I'm not sponsored in any way. I know Sean has been an ambassador for them before. I'm not sure if you still are, but
I
I'm not
am. Yeah.
associated with them in any way. But I just think they're an amazing company and they have an amazing product, especially for people who are just learning the hobby or for kind of a filler project when you want to be in your quilting room and your creative juices really just aren't flowing and you're just not really sure what to work on. A cotton cuts project is great because you don't have to think about it. It's already done for you. It's already cut for you. The design is already there. All you have to do is sew it up together and enjoy. The favorite part of from most people about quilting is the sewing. So yeah, I encourage it.
Oh, sure. And I mean, that's what I was going to say earlier, and then I got distracted. When you were saying it, sometimes like you just don't feel like, you don't know what you got to do and that sort of thing there. I think we all need to have that project that's simple and easy because I know I've kind of struggled with that myself the last couple of weeks. I spent way too much time this week. I've been cutting out fabric for Christopher Robin, and I think I spent 3 hours and I've gotten this much done already. And I got to like
Wow.
Thursday and I was like, okay, I need something. I need to step away from this. I'm only halfway done with that. I need to step
Mhm.
away from this. I actually need to get some sewing done. And normally I pull out like a puzzle mystery quilt because it's pre-cut. You don't have to do anything with it. You just got to pull out and sew. But I think we all need that simple project that we can just pull out and just get sewing sometimes. So like the other day, I just pulled out one of the courthouse steps FPP projects. Because all that is 1.5 inch strips. I put that together. So it's good to have. But they are really, really good. The cotton cut stuff, like whether you do the stitches or the puzzle mystery quilt or the gnomes or whatever, just because you don't have to think about it. You just pull it out and away you go. So yeah,
Yep. Yeah, for
huge
sure. That's
fan of
why
that.
I always try to have, because you guys, I mentioned it before, but I get bored very easily with projects. And so that's why I'm
Me
constantly
too.
rotating mine out. And so I always have a couple of projects kind of just in little Ziplocs in my bin that are like quick and easy ones. So like I have a couple of pencil case projects. I have some scrunchy projects. I have some, pot holder projects, little teeny tiny ones that are only going to take you an hour or two to put together, because sometimes when you're working on these big projects, like you said, it took you 3 hours just to cut all the fabric. And sometimes with my projects, sometimes it'll take me 2-3 episodes of my live streams to get through all the cutting and things. And sometimes you just need to give yourself the win. Like you need to feel like you've accomplished something, like you're getting somewhere with this. Like I'm seeing progress, things like that. So I say that I like to give myself a little bit of a win every once in a while. So I'll pull one of those out just to finish it. So that I feel like I've accomplished something. Like, okay,
Oh
good.
yeah,
I did accomplish something. Now I can go back to the big project and I don't feel like I'm just sitting here doing this over and over and over again. Like, am I ever going to get done with this?
that's
Type of
exactly
thing.
how I
And I have a
felt.
little bit more motivation.
That's exactly how I felt this week because I was just like, I'm not like I could see myself going down the list and getting this stuff cut out.
Hmm.
But yeah, I needed to get something done. So I made was it close by? Let's see. There it is. I mean, I just cut this out and threw this together on Thursday night.
Oh, that is so cute.
Yeah, it's just a simple what do they call it? Log cabin block. It's
Oh yeah, yeah.
FPP. But yeah, just all 1.5 inch strips. I just used some scraps from the pink quilt that I'm working on. So
I love those. I've done those type of FPP projects before. I have not. I have yet to do a full size FPP project, but I love those with the pre printed fabric on them, or the pre printed patterns. I think it's So Emma or Fat Quarter
yes,
Shop or something. I
yeah,
love
that's
working on those, and I have a couple of those. Again, I have a couple of them just kind of in my arsenal for same reason. Like when I just need to give myself a win, I just need to feel like I've accomplished something. I'll grab those and I'll make a couple of those blocks, because you make the blocks fairly fast. Yeah, well, I shouldn't say fairly fast, but you make them. You can accomplish one or two of them in a live stream or in a couple of hours, and then you feel like you've gotten something done. Hey, baby.
yeah. I mean, they do go together quite quickly. I think from the time that I pulled it out Thursday night, I think I did. I cut it out and I put it together. I think it took me less than an hour. Um, I know when I was on the live stream with Katie a couple of weeks ago over on her channel, we were doing these courthouse stairs. I think I cut out enough for 5 of them. I knew there was no way on this green earth I was going to get 5 done in 2 hours. But I think I got
Right.
3.5 or 4 done. I was actually quite impressed. I was like, I'm glad I cut 5 out because if I'd only done 2 or 3 that I expected, I would have been, sitting there twiddling my thumbs going, dude, so kind of
I
worked out.
apologize if everybody saw me talking to the floor. I have three puppies, and one of them just came in for a minute to say hello. Ever since when I was working on, I'm also working on an Elizabeth Hartman project called The Puppies. And when I work on that project, I actually have a camera that I've set up on the floor so that when my puppies come in to say hello to me, the community can see them on the channel. And so I call it the puppy cam. And
Yeah.
so I entice them to come in with like treats and stuff. So I like have a little container of treats that I'll shake. Well, ever since my last live stream of my puppies with the puppy cam and the treats, my one puppy, she comes in here every day that I'm in here to see if I have treats. I did it one time. I did it one time, and now she thinks every time I'm in here I must have treats. I must have them somewhere. She's so funny.
Doggo.
I know, they're so silly.
Katie Croft says here that the cutting for the 100-acre woods is intense. I have to break it into section. I do too. I usually turn a movie on or a TV show or a YouTube video or something as I'm cutting. I just take my time with it. I don't rush it because that's not the sort of thing that you want to rush. So I totally get that. I saw Donna popped in here earlier from Dragonflies with Donna. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Sometimes I mentally reply to people and it just doesn't come out of my mouth.
Yep. Like you see them and you're like, oh, I'm going to say something in a minute. And then, you see something shiny and you forget. Baby, I don't have any treats. I'm sorry. Mommy doesn't have any. Go ask Daddy for some. I don't have any. I'm sorry.
See, that's why I'm grateful for my two. And this is one of the reasons I like going live in the morning as well, is that I get up, I feed them, and then they go to sleep. So, like, they're both next to me. Well, actually, no, I don't know where Finn is. Copper's here just snoring away right next to me. If you ever hear a snoring noise during my lives, it's him.
Yeah, we have one like that. Yeah, I have 3 dogs. I have one medium size, and then I have one like small-ish, and then I have one really small. And the size of the dog does not necessarily dictate their age. We kind of got them a little bit out of order. My middle sized dog is actually our baby. She's a Cavachon. Her name is Ivy, and she's currently sitting here staring at me because she's my treat queen. She wants the treats, and so she's sitting here staring at me, and she keeps whining at me, and I'm like, honey, I don't have anything. I don't have anything. I don't know why you're whining. So yeah, but yeah, the puppy cam is fun. People enjoy that because they get to see our puppies. The puppies always make an appearance usually on my live stream at some point. This one, Ivy, is very camera shy, so she actually tries to avoid the camera.
Oh, okay.
Usually you see like the top of her tail is usually all you see. The other 2 are fine, but I don't know how she even knows the camera's there, but she does. And she will avoid it. She'll like try and go around it. But right now she's literally standing. If I had the camera on, she'd be perfectly on it right now. But she's just sitting there staring at me. I don't have anything. I'm sorry. Go ask Daddy. Silly girl.
Rita says, puppies learn quick. Yes, they do. Mine come in my craft from every day 11, 3, and 6. Then at times when lives are happening, they get a snack for being quiet. Yeah. Our first dog that my wife and I had, I don't know how he knew, but he used to get fed at 5 o'clock. That was his dinner time. Mm-hmm. He would start barking at us and telling us it was time for dinner at 5 o'clock. Not 4:59, not 5:01, but 5 o'clock every day. And I was like, how does this dog know this? Like, is it reading the clock? Because, the sun, like, you can't just say, well, time the sun and the sunrise and sunset is different every day.
Right, but yeah.
Somehow that animal knew exactly when it was 5 o'clock.
Well, this one, we feed ours at 5 o'clock too, and this one will start whining at 3 o'clock. And we just have to look in and go, it's not time yet. And then she'll let go for like another 30 minutes, and then she'll come back again and start whining. It's still not time yet. And she'll do this for starting at 3 usually.
Oh, you just wait till it's daylight savings time ends, and then they get fed.
They get mad. Yeah, they get real mad.
I start adjusting the time about a week before, so by the time it rolls around that they're good. They don't seem to care when you go forwards. They get fed in there earlier. But when you fall back, that's when they get really, really upset.
Yeah, they do. I love the memes that you see on all the social medias about the dogs. What do you mean I gotta wait another hour?
Yeah, no, I've just figured it's just easier to start adjusting the time earlier so that it's not such a shock to them.
Yep.
I'm almost done with this block. I'm actually very, very shocked.
For anyone who is interested in joining my channel, I just wanted to give you guys a quick heads up. I said that I do my live streams on Sunday mornings. We are doing a live stream tomorrow, but then next week we actually are skipping our live stream because I'm actually going out of town. I just don't want anybody to be disappointed if they join the channel and they're like, she said she goes live and she's not here. It's because I'm taking a week off. I will be live tomorrow, but next week I'm out of town.
Yeah, I rarely make your lives because it's usually when we're talking to the kids. We
Oh,
do
and
a
that's fine. And and I know that the time frame that I'm on, at least here in Illinois, most people are going to church during that time, and I understand that, and so that's why there's replays, and that's
yeah,
also one of the reasons why I try to do an evening stream during the week, so then that way those that can't join on our Sunday stream are hopefully able to join either on our Saturday evening or our evenings during the week. And that's also the other reason why I don't really do them a specific day of the week. Like I'm always kind of scattered around as to what day I do them. Because then that way people can, hopefully I can, they can join one of the other streams.
right.
So I
Yeah,
encourage you, if you're not able to make the Sunday morning one, but you would be able to join like a 7:30, and I do them late, 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Central Time. If you're able to join that one, then I encourage you to sign up for the notifications so that when I do go live, you get notified that I'm available.
yeah, and that's kind of one of the reasons I started doing the. I do once a month with Tammy over at Siberian Wind. We go live together on her After Sunset Sundays at 10 p.m. Eastern. And what's it called? Oh, yeah. One of the reasons I do that is so that way my folks on the West Coast and ones that can't make it here bright and early on a Saturday morning have an opportunity to see us live because, yeah, I just can't really commit to anything else at
Right.
this point and be consistent. But it's a good opportunity to do that because, yeah, I'm on early. I understand it, but it's the best time it works for me and my family. And like you said, the replay is always there as a good option. So
Mm-hmm.
it's
Well,
been
and I
it's
mean,
been
I'm
a good
sure that
push.
everybody understands. You have a schedule too. Like,
Yeah,
you're if
I
you were
love.
doing YouTube for full time and you were, at the mercy of when your subscribers were there, that's one thing. But you have a full time job, you have a family. We
Yeah,
all have other lives that we have to accommodate too. So
I mean, yeah. Now, if ever, if it became an opportunity where I could do it full time, that'd be great. But I'd have to start earning a lot more money from all my avenues of revenue for that to happen. So I would.
Andrea asked me, do I turn on closed captions? I try to. I try to do that as much as I can. I know sometimes it doesn't always work. And I have not quite figured out why it doesn't always work, but I do try. So if because I personally love closed captioning, I
Oh,
don't
me
need it
too.
for any medical reasons or anything, but I enjoy it because sometimes I miss what the person said, or there's a heavy accent, or maybe I'm just not listening very well. So I prefer closed captioning. So I do try to do that as well on my channel also, as much as I can. But if you notice that it's not turning on, and it was turning on and then all of a sudden it's not turning on, I encourage my subscribers and stuff to let me know that stuff so that I can make sure that, because obviously I probably did something wrong and accidentally turned it off somehow. So I want to make sure that I turn it back on.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah, I
know.
do try.
With mine, I have to turn it on manually each time.
Mm,
And it's just part of it's like three buttons. It's not difficult. It's just part of my
no.
pre-live routine. Like I just turn on the studio, and then there's like I got to change the latency to normal, and then right next to it's a closed caption. And I found that works for
Okay.
me. I
I
can I can
wonder
show
if
you that.
it's. I don't know. I'll double check it again when I probably when I get off the screen. But I do try to remember to turn it on, and usually I'm like when I set up my previews, I do like reuse the previous one. Oh, that's so cute. reuse the previous one. So then that way, whatever settings I had before are the same because we recycle our projects over. So we're working on the same project for 10 or 12 episodes before it's done.
Yeah.
Um, so I try to do that, but sometimes I do weird stuff. I have fat fingers, and sometimes they click the wrong
Me
buttons.
too. All right, let's see. Yeah, Rita says she doesn't often catch early AM live, so I'm glad that you are able to join us today. I appreciate everybody comes. Like I didn't really know if anybody would join an early morning live when I started this. I figured, well, we'll just try and see what happens. Maybe it's one of those things. If you build it, it'll come, and it seems to work that way, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean it works out real well. I don't usually function very well early in the morning because I'm more of a night owl. I like you said, I have a full time job, and so I get to the office a little bit later than most because then that way I can cover for everybody, and so I've just kind of gotten used to doing things a little bit later in the day.
Right. And that's okay. Not all of us are morning people. I know I definitely am. Good morning to Dubravka H. I'm probably butchering the name, and I apologize in advance. She says he or she. I'm assuming it's a she, but I can't. I shouldn't do that because we have a lot of gentlemen quilters now, which is fantastic. I love seeing, more and more gentlemen hop into the hobby as well. So it's good morning here
Yeah.
from Canada. Now we're talking about that. It might be a good time for me to say that the current plan, and it's already been pretty much set up in the month of August, I'm going to have all gentlemen guests.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I tried to do that in March, and I succeeded pretty well. And there's a lot more gentlemen quilters out there that I wanted to have on the channel, so I figured it'd be fun to have them, all in 1 month. So
that's great.
That's what they say. I think it's like 5% of people, 5% of quilters are men. And I was like, okay, well, I want to try and have more, with my guests, have more than 5% of them. 5% of my guests be men.
For sure.
So, we got some fun guests lined up, including my friend Adam from Adam Sews. I've finally been able to tie him down and get him to, because he's super busy. We've tried.
I think I'm a subscriber of his channel. He's really super talented.
He's going to be fun. Like, I'm really excited to have him on. I said we've tried to do projects in the past and stuff's come up, or the schedules just haven't aligned. And this time he's like, "Yep, I'm free that day." So I was like, "Okay, cool, lock it down.
Let's get it on the calendar before you change your mind."
Yeah, he's a fun guy. He's a fun guy, and I'm really looking forward to having him on. So that'll be a lot of fun. So, all right. So
that sounds like it.
Got this part done. Got the head, and that's his tail. And then we got like 7 minutes to get this attached.
Oh boy. No pressure.
Well, as long as I don't goof this up, I think our chances are pretty good.
I have 2 rows left. I just finished the 10th row. I'm going to attach it to my piece here, and then I have 1 more row.
Good. All right. Well, this lines up well. So whatever issue I had before, I think I'm going to have to test my 1/4-inch seam again.
I use a guided presser foot.
Me too.
I've not tried to use a one of those like magnetic pieces yet. I would like to try to use one of those soon, but right now I use a guided presser foot, and it seems to work pretty well. But it can fluctuate because it's just this little strip of metal, and it kind of moves around a little bit. So sometimes you got to bend it back.
I love the guided foot, and that was one of the things when I bought the new sewing machine. I made sure that they sold a guided presser foot. That was kind of a deal breaker for me. And
I just bought mine on Amazon, but I have a Baby Lock, which is a brother machine, so it's pretty, it's a pretty standard machine. So it wasn't hard to find one, but I swear by it. It's like the only way I would get quarter-inch seams.
Oh, for sure. And it was like,
Otherwise, my seams would not be quarter-inch.
I went out to buy this machine. I asked them, I said, do you guys sell do you guys have a foot, guided foot for this? They're like, oh, yeah, we'll just throw it in. I was like, even better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the nice thing about
I'm
these.
sure that you've mentioned it on your channel before, and I apologize for asking the question, but how do you like your new machine?
I love this machine. It is fantastic. It has some bells and whistles that I definitely wasn't a deal break, for me. But yeah, I'm very, very happy with this machine. I would highly recommend the Fast machines to anybody that are looking for a good quality machine. Yeah, very, very happy with this.
That's good.
So,
I mean, I watched your videos on why you chose that one over others, and I understand your your decision process made sense to me. I have been a brother baby lock goer for years. Um, Before that, it was singer, because everybody had a singer at some point, and,
right.
and so but I really like the brother and the baby lock, but I'm kind of interested in the FAF. My local quilt store doesn't actually sell brother baby lock machines. They sell the FAF ones. So I've been
Okay.
kind of hemming and hawing about it. I've been thinking about maybe doing an upgrade on my machine here soon. We'll see. Right now, it's a budget thing more so than anything else.
Yeah, and that's Jamie from the Quilting Compound mentioned here too that the built-in walking foot on the Farf is fantastic. And that was one of the things that drew me towards it. But I think what kind of sold it for me was just the level of customer service
Mhm.
that the store provided at the shop at the show. I mean, they were just fantastic, and that kind
And
of
that does say a lot about it too. Yeah.
yeah. So there you go. So, but yeah, no, I'm oh okay. I said the name right. Female. Okay, so I did get it right. Okay, perfect. Okay. I've had enough. It looks like it's I'm not going to say Polish or Slavic name, but it looks in that kind of family. And I've had enough of the kids from that area that I tend to get away with it more, get it right more than I don't. So I think I said good morning to Donnell, and if I didn't, I apologize. And there you go. But yeah, no, the Brother machines are great. I would happily buy another Brother machine. I may do so again in the future. I just thought that this one was a better fit for me. Plus, when I went shopping at the show, they didn't have the Brother dealer only had like the higher end machines, which were way out of my price range. So that kind of took
Yeah.
it out of the running too. So
Yeah,
no,
that is
no,
one of the things that I'm noticing with the brother machines and the brother and baby lock, because they're both the same company.
right.
I've noticed that there's not a whole lot of like medium grade machines. Like I don't want low level, but I don't want the high grade machine either. I'm looking for like more of a medium grade, and I'm not finding a whole lot in that price point for baby lock and for brother. So that's kind of what's making me kind of forcing me to go outside of my comfort zone and start looking at other brands. So
So
I'll be interested to see what I end up with at some point, but there's no hurry on it, and I haven't really committed to anything. But I'm still looking. I think every sewer or quilter is always looking at new machines. Just that's so cute.
I
I
know,
love
right?
that teal fabric. I love that color. It's just so pretty.
Which the
Um,
blue?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I found that last week at the quilt shop I was telling you about last week. It's a motor fabric. I ended up buying the rest of the bolt. Let's see, what's it called? Confetti cartons. It's called the Oceanside color. Yeah, it's just really fun. He was asking for like an aqua background, and I was just wandering around the store, and that one just looked at me, and I just thought it was fantastic. So, but yeah, if you're looking for a machine, I highly recommend if there's one close to you at any point, go to a quilt show where they have a lot of the different vendors because A, you get to visit a bunch of folks all in one place, and B, usually the
Mhm.
show pricing is better than you can find just about anywhere else.
Oh, that's a good
especially
tip. Yeah.
especially if you go on the last day. Like if your show's from like Friday to Sunday, go on Sunday because the prices tend to be lower on Sunday because they don't want to take it back home with them. So
Yep. Yeah, well, and that goes for any craft store, any craft show. I got to a point with my craft store excursions that I only go on the last days because
Mhm.
that's when you really get the best prices.
Yeah, you may pay 10, 15, $20 to get into the show, but I can pretty much guarantee, especially if you're like ready to pull the trigger and buy a machine that day, the
Yep.
$20 or whatever it is you spend getting into the show, plus you get to see all the pretty quilts anyway, will more than be offset by the amount of money that you'll save by buying a machine at the show. So
For
that's
sure.
kind of,
For sure.
yeah, that's kind
Yeah.
of my thing. Okay, so she says it's a Croatian name. Okay, so I was close. I'm not very good at the spelling bee, but I know name originations, which is good. All right, so it is 9:30, so we'll go ahead and say goodbye in just a moment. Let's see. Andrea says, I'm not close to hill country, but all water runs downhill towards the Gulf, which I'm near. I'm more concerned of hurricane season. I have friends in Kerrville. They'll let me know. They say, yeah, hurricane season down there is not fun. Thankfully, we are
No.
far enough north that we don't get a lot of them. If they do hit us, it's usually like a Cat 1, maybe a Cat 2. But they tend to hit the Outer Banks and then bounce out to sea, thankfully. So there you go.
Yeah,
Good morning,
hurricanes is
Amber.
not something we usually see up here. We do see
Uh,
tornadoes though, and I imagine that they're probably similar.
I'd take a hurricane over a tornado any day of the week because A, you see the hurricane coming, and B, it's not as devastating unless it's like a Katrina Cat 5 or something, because those tornado speeds,
Yep.
even like an F2, um, will outrun a hurricane any day of the week. So there you go.
Wow.
But do you have anything fun going on your channel in the near future? You have your live tomorrow morning at 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern, correct?
I do, and we
Okay,
are kind of at a point with a lot of our projects where we're starting to kind of reach the end of them. We're getting the quilt tops put together, and so we're going to be starting a bunch of new projects here in the next couple of months. A couple of them that I'm really super excited about is they all kind of start in November, so I'm not sure that I'm going to start them all in November myself, but that's when I'm getting them all. Um,
right,
someone really needs to take my phone away because I signed up for way too many Block of the Month programs this year, like way too many. I mentioned before that I did not sign up for any cotton cuts projects this year. The colorways just weren't really speaking to me. And so I
right,
ended up signing up for a couple of other Block of the Month programs from other companies. I'm not affiliated or associated with any of them. I just wanted to try different things, and the projects look really nice. So
right.
I have three of them. Three of them starting up in November. And it's going to be a little crazy. One of them is the longest one is an 11-month program. The other ones are, I think, an 8, and I think there might be a 6 in there. I can't remember exactly, but so I'm really excited to start on those because I have started a new Block of the Month program through Annie's Attic, formerly of Annie's Kit Club. I've
Right.
been working on that one. I think we're on block 6 now, and I'm really enjoying it. But I'm finding that the amount of extra scrap fabric that you end up with is just astronomical. So you could basically make a whole nother quilt with the amount of extra fabric you end up with. It's just crazy. So I'm interested to kind of see how other companies do things as opposed to just how Cotton Cuts does them. Don't get me wrong, I love Cotton Cuts as you can see
Right.
here, and I will continue to support them as much as I can. But I kind of wanted to reach out and reach out to other companies and kind of just see, because let's face it, our quilting community is using those other companies as well. So
Right.
if maybe they're considering using them but they're not sure, and so I've told them that let me be your guinea pig, let me be the one to try it out for you and see if it works for you or not. And I do actually have a couple of subscribers that they saw the projects that I signed up for, and they're like, Dani, we're going to start it with you. And I'm like, that's exciting. I mean, definitely not, definitely a surprise, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to be starting on those probably in November. But we're going to be finishing up. We've already finished up 2 quilts this year. We're going to have another one finished up probably in August, as I'm going to guess when it'll be finished up. So then we're going to start some new ones in September, October, November. So it's a lot of fun. So
That sounds fun. And it's always, I have to say no to a lot of things. Like I see all these blocks of the month and I'm like, I'm just going to be so far behind. So thankfully, In my
Yeah.
case, I'm able to say no. It's been hard to say no, but I have.
My will has not been very strong this year for whatever reason, and it's like, oh my gosh, somebody needs to stop me because I am signing up for way too many projects. I have way too many kits going on. I need to start. I need to slow down. So that's why I'm not sure that I'm going to actually start on all three in November. I'm
Yeah,
fairly certain one of them is going to get pushed to the side and start on that one probably next year
just
sometime,
enjoy the
but
journey.
they're coming, and so they will be on the channel. I just don't know when. So it's going to be a
Yeah,
lot of fun, and so hopefully I'll get to meet some more fun friends and hang out with you guys some more tomorrow morning.
yeah, absolutely. That'd be fun. Yeah, so if you get a chance to hop over, definitely do. So she's always a lot of fun. And
Oh,
so I
thank
just,
you.
yeah, it's just not at the right time for me, but I usually try and catch the replay and say hi when I can if I remember to type something in there. I'll be back tomorrow morning as usual to have my podcast. You've got to see all the updates I have. I'm excited to be able to share Anna Green Gables. That block is done. You'll get to see the dog finish. I think just put the borders on that. You've pretty much seen all that, plus some other fun stuff as well. So definitely check that out. If you haven't checked out Dani's channel, please do so. Her channel link is in the description if you're watching the replay. And I'm also putting in the live chat right now as well. And if you want more live goodness later on today, you can duck over to visit Donnell at 10 o'clock, which is about 22 minutes. So I'll throw her channel link in. And then my mate Russ over at Quilt Meets World will be live at 11. And then Mum and Pop Quilt Shop are usually live at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then Miss Katie, who we all know, will be live at 4:30. I think it's 4:30 Eastern, usually on a Saturday. So definitely check out all those wonderful friends of mine. They have lots of wonderful lives. And then, Danny will be back with her live tomorrow morning. So with that, we're going to let you go. Otherwise, you'll be all here and not over at Donnell's, which is where you need to head over to next. So go grab a coffee, grab a scone or some pancakes or whatever you want to eat. Go visit Donnell, tell her I said hi, and we will see you all next time. Thank you so much for joining me, Danny. It was a pleasure having you. We need to have you back again real soon.
Yes,
All right.
thank you.
I hope you all have a good day. Happy sewing, and we'll see you next time. I will hit the